Hello friends, my name is Parag and we are with Jennifer, one of the legend of Kettlebell marathon sport, and she has done 2 world records today. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this.
And we are going to have a kind of a talk with her to know her training programs and how does she manage to do all these things. Jennifer, how did your career of kettlebell sport start and why do you choose kettlebell sport? You have any sports background or you just came, what's your background?
I do have a sports background. Would you prefer I talk here or here? Yeah. This way?
Anyway.
Okay. I do have a kettlebell, or I do have a sports background. So growing up, I figure skated for 10 years. I played soccer for 10 years. And then I pretty much played all the sports in high school. And my main sports were rugby and volleyball.
Okay.
And then, I played rugby until university, and I played for provincial rugby. So that was my sport.
Okay.
And kettlebell sport I actually came across accidentally.
Okay.
I opened a gym.
Okay.
And I had a kettlebell certification from Australia.
Okay.
But a lot of people, they didn't recognize it, and so they thought they wanted to see a certificate to show my credibility. And so I Googled online and I found World Kettlebell Club certification, and I thought, oh, that sounds very legit. World Kettlebell Club. Valerie, yes. Valerie Fedorenko.
Yeah.
And so I signed myself up for that. It was a 3-day course, 2 different certifications, and I showed up at this certification.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, because I had only used the little black fitness classic kettlebells,
okay,
there are these big bells, and they're all these different colors. And there was this girl from Australia, Emily Friedel, there, and she was doing this big set, because back then, WKC, you could get a Master of Sport rank only if Valerie was there.
Okay.
And so because he was there, he allowed her to try her Master of Sport outside of competition in front of him.
Okay.
And so she's doing this lift, and I'm all like, what's going on here?
Okay.
And everyone, like Marty Farrell was there, Andrew Derniet, there were some really big names in the sport at the time. And they all looked at me like, what do you mean? Because they were all kettlebell sport lifters.
Okay.
And it was a kettlebell sport certification. I didn't know that. So I became a kettlebell sport athlete by mistake because I went to get a certification. So my clients thought I was a better qualified coach.
Okay.
And so here at the certification, I learned, oh, this is a sport.
Okay.
And I was like, can I do this? And they're like, yeah, you can do this, of course. And
okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been training only for marathons or you've been training for the GS, like a 10-minute lift? And if you have done that, how do you find the difference between the two sports?
Oh yes, GS is my main sport.
Okay.
Until I was in an accident 2 years ago. And then I turned to marathon unintentionally. I was with my...
Because of the injury?
I was with my very good friend, and she was my coach at the time, Abigail Johnston.
Yes.
And so I was staying with her in Scotland, and she said, okay, there's a competition, World Championships in Italy. You can come because you have Master of Sport World Class in GS.
Okay.
And so I was able to go, and then I did it, and then I just sort of, while I was healing from my injuries, I found I could not do, because I have MSWC in 24 kilo long cycle, and I have MS in 20 kilo snatch, and I have some world records in double 16 jerk and long cycle and biathlon. GS is my main thing.
Okay.
That's my main thing.
Okay.
And I think it's what's helped me so much in marathon is having that background.
Okay.
But marathons allowed me to keep lifting even though I still have...
Okay, so now you have more predilection towards marathon than the GS, or maybe because of the injury it has put you back that you have to choose marathon as your sport.
Exactly.
Is that something like that?
Yes, it is that. I still have residual issues from the injuries, but I really hope once I'm finished my 60 days that I can put marathon to the side and train GS. Because I do find, as long as I train GS, I'm always ready for marathon.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. For the beginners who want to get into the marathon, because we are at the World Championships here in Poland, what is your suggestion or a kind of a tips who want to get started with the marathon? Do they have to do some prerequisites first, like basic strength or a cardio training, or do they just have to lift kettlebells? How it is?
I think just lift kettlebells. I owned a gym for 9 years, and I had a lot of people come in brand new. And to be honest, I would have them get familiar with kettlebells by doing HIIT training with kettlebells. So I would have them do boot camps for at least a good month with me. So they learn the basics, like how to swing a kettlebell. So they learn how to start using their body with a kettlebell versus how they would use it with barbells or dumbbells. So they just start understanding that it's about moving with the kettlebell, not moving the kettlebell.
Okay.
And so I would have them do that for a little while. They get used to their hands on the bell, they get used to the bell sitting on them.
Yes.
And then we can move very easily to... And Kettlebell Marathon is great for beginners. I find it much easier for beginners than GS. Much easier.
Yes.
It's a lot more forgiving.
Okay.
In terms of the opportunity to switch hands a lot. So.
Okay. And you do the strength training also? If so, do you do the strength training on the day of the marathon, like a typical kettlebell lifting, or do you do the strength training on the other days? Or first of all, the question is, do you do the strength training?
Right.
Like lifting weights, barbells, dumbbells?
No, I haven't done strength training in a very long time.
Okay.
Since I did marathon. So when I do GS training, I do strength training.
Okay.
And I often do like to do 2-a-day workouts if I can.
Okay.
And this does not mean I have a ton of time in my life. It just means I really focus on my schedule being tight.
Okay.
So I would usually do my strength training in the morning.
Okay.
Or like I do love HIIT training, high intensity. I love jump squats and burpees and weighted
like more of body weight stuff.
Yeah, explosive stuff. And then certain things that I know I need help in. So like kettlebells, a lot of pushing and pressing, a lot of chest and shoulders.
Yes.
So I'll do a lot more back work to stay balanced.
Okay.
A lot more glute work.
Okay.
If I do strength stuff to keep my back strong as well.
Okay.
And then I would go about my day, and then I do my kettlebells as my second session for GS.
Okay.
Marathon, I do no strength training.
Okay. So you train how many times a week and how many hours?
Well,
most important.
Right, because I'm training for the 60 days of 3-hour lifts.
Yes.
The last 2 months I've been lifting pretty much every day, 3 hours a day. Some days 4 hours. That is not necessary at all. But just in general, I do like to train every single day of the week. I never have off days, but I do different things. So maybe one day I lift 20 kilograms for an hour. The next day I lift 10. Or I go for a jog. Or I do what I coach, which is called kettle camp workouts, and it's like high intensity workouts with intervals using kettlebells and body weight exercises. So it's like usually supersetting cardio and strength movements. So I always do something.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
There are many women in India who are now getting into kettlebell sport, and the numbers are really coming up fast.
Yeah.
And typically, if you say as compared to the men, women numbers go up really faster.
That's
usually
common.
they see. Yeah. So, any suggestion for the women to like you have done a lot in a process in few years? Any suggestion for women to focus when they get into the sport? What should be their focus first? Is it the technique? Is it the numbers? Is it is it to achieve the ranks? What do you think? Initially, few years, at least for a couple of years. Okay, it's entire life. You're gonna train. There are many women who are training for 6, 7, 8 years, and now at this position of MSWC, they are.
Yes.
So, if you want to see a growth in a longer run, what should be the focus?
I think the focus, they must have many positive experiences, many consecutive positive experiences, so that they feel that they are progressing and that is worth their time. And then they will develop a belief in themselves, and then they'll be more excited about trying something a little harder. So what I would have them do is make sure that they stay at a lighter weight until I focus on the time. I wouldn't focus on them lifting on heavy weight. I wouldn't focus on them working really, really fast. If their goal is 30 minutes, I'd work on making sure they do that 30 minutes with, say, 8 kilograms, and then get a little faster with that 8, and just get more and more confident with that 8 kilogram kettlebell. And once they've had enough success and they're at a strong pace, then use a transitional bell such as a 10 kilogram bell and build their confidence with that weight as well. I'd say one of the biggest mistakes, I believe, is that people move up too fast in weight. Too fast in weight. I spend a whole lot of time training for this competition. I think I lifted the 16 kilogram maybe 6 to 10 times in the last 2 months. That's it. It's all been 10, 12, 14. Very little 14.
And it has helped you?
Immensely. Yeah, I just broke, 2 world records. They're so much higher than I could have done myself 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good takeaway, guys. When we train, you have to train on the lighter bale, get the technique first, get your endurance up, and then move on to the upper head weight or the heavier weight. That is what just Jennifer mentioned. Now, the most important question is, do you think there is any kind of a setback, drawback through kettlebell training, whether it's a GS or a marathon and on a longer run? On a longer run, like if you think if there is any drawback or a setback, if you have experienced
doing kettlebell
anything,
sport for a long period of time.
Exactly. Yes.
This is so interesting. I was just talking to a couple from France, literally 5 minutes ago. Well, right before this, and he is a cyclist, and he found that in his cycling, he was traveling along countries or something. He was getting stronger every single day and faster every single day, covering more distance. And he asked how I recently did 43 days in a row of 3-hour kettlebell lifts. And naturally, when I started it, and everyone else who heard I started it was like, your body's going to break down. And I thought, of course, that's what I expect. It's just, how much is it going to break down? I'm curious. And I started the first 18 days I did with 10 kilograms, and I thought, oh man, this is getting boring. This isn't getting hard. This is getting boring. So I grabbed the 12 kilograms. Thought, let's see how many days I can do with this. And it became harder, but it was still doable. And then I tried a 14, and then I ended up doing 16 kilograms for 3 hours. Long cycle, 12 to 13 RPM, which is a very, very respectable pace. And then I thought, I better start training for World Championships while in the middle of this. And suddenly I hit 15:01 in jerk. The world record was 13:12. And after doing like 30 days in a row of 3-hour lifts, I thought, I'm going to test my jerk. And I hit 15:01. And then I put my bell down and I did 3 hours after that. And then next time I tried the 16, I did 15:02. The next time I did 15:60. The next time I did 16 something. So every time I lifted, within all of that, I still managed to get stronger and faster. And I had back pain and injury when I started the 43 days, and my back got better as all the time passed. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Great. You're training so much. Do you take any supplementations specifically for your heart protection, or maybe to enhance your performance? Anything like, there are many sports supplements available. Basic supplements also, but anything specific if you're taking, or if it is helping you.
You just
like
got me
BCAA.
when you said the heart thing. You made me think, isn't it? There's like coenzyme something. I forgot about that. I should look into it. I don't take anything right now. Honestly, I just haven't had the money. So I don't take multivitamins. I don't take vitamin C. I don't take protein powders. I don't take B vitamins. I'm vegan. I've been vegan for over 10 years. I don't take B vitamins. I don't take iron. Sometimes I take probiotics.
Important.
No, there's nothing that...
Anything specific? No. Like,
there's nothing
you
at
don't take
all.
protein shakes?
No, I drink green smoothies all the time. And so they have like cherries, which are very anti-inflammatory, and mangoes, and I put a big chunk of raw ginger or turmeric in that, which is super anti-inflammatory. I use mixed greens or spinach, and then banana, dates, and then usually either like maybe some maca root powder. Sometimes I'm out of it most of the time, but yeah, just real food.
Wow,
real
great.
food.
Maybe viewers would like to know some of your best numbers. Maybe just few. I know there are many.
Sure.
Just,
in marathon?
Well, in marathon, or also typically in GS, if you have this few.
Okay, GS. One I'm really proud of is double 16 kilo jerk is 176 reps. Long cycle double 16s is 110, and then in marathon, well, today I did 15:40 with 16 kilo jerk. In long cycle yesterday I did 910 in 16 kilo long cycle, and I've done 30-minute 20 kilo jerk, 600 and over 600. I don't remember.
Crazy numbers,
but
you don't remember those.
There's so many numbers. Yes.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. Any message to the viewers who are getting started with kettlebell sports in India? Very important.
Message with kettlebell sport. It's very tough, but you just made me think about how you asked what keeps me staying in kettlebell sport.
Yes.
You did say earlier, and I can say kettlebell sport. If you get a chance, you should look at how I looked 10 years ago. I was 200 pounds. I was obese. I was a food addict. Even though I was an athlete in all those sports, I still kept getting bigger and bigger and unhealthier, and I became very, very sick in my 20s, and I had to see doctors all the time. I was on 16 different prescription pills, medication a day, and now no medicine, nothing. Kettlebell sport
Kettlebell is a medicine.
is what helped me. It helped me because I no longer wanted to eat crappy food, because then I could not do my training.
Yes.
And that made me feel not good in my head, because I really wanted to get good at this.
Yes.
And so kettlebells are awesome because I feel like they help you create balance in other areas of your life to help you succeed. And yeah, like you said, it's medicine. It's very meditative, and there's always somewhere to improve.
Exactly.
You will never hit the end.
Yes. It's always one step you are going ahead, breaking the PR, going ahead, breaking the PR, going ahead.
That's right. Yeah.
The sky is the limit.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Jennifer, and congratulations again for the 2 records. And I look forward maybe for the next competition whenever we are anywhere in the world.
Yes, same. I look forward
Thank
to
you
it as
very
well.
much.
Thank you.